Welcome to the Tolleson-Mack podcast, man. We have been at this all day long, Cesar. Well, 2 days, right?
Yeah, last 2 days.
Okay, so I know that me and you are fans of TikTok, right? We watch TikTok, and I watch this lady's TikToks, and they crack me up because most of it is 100% the truth, and some of it she's trying to censor, but it doesn't happen, and then the truth comes out.
I live on sarcasm.
Yeah, so Tara Hill, we are very pleased to have you on the Tolleson-Mack podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and if the listeners or the viewers don't know who this is the lady that her brand is on them steers, right?
They're on all 60 of them at the NFR right now. And the horn wraps.
And the horn wraps. So
I actually had somebody comment today on one of my videos on TikTok, and they go, well, somebody said that they have the steers in round 1, 5, 7, and 9. And I was like, well, my brand's on the steers in those rounds. I said, you might be talking about the bulldoggers, and they didn't comment back, so I guess they figured it out.
Too, I see that stuff too, and they said, oh, I had a guy tell me one time they used a different contractor in every round. No. I watch this lady's TikToks. I'm a professional. Like, I know what's going on over there. So I would imagine having the steers at the NFR makes you the most popular person at the end of the night.
Absolutely
or the
not.
Most hated,
Absolutely
the most hated.
not.
Like one of the two.
Yeah,
right?
it's just it always like. You know, whoever wins the round or sets,
1 out of 15 loves you.
Yeah, I mean, last night T Wade, he already called Bobby Joe and he was like, "Hey, I need to own that steer." 3-3, and so he's going home with him.
So yeah, let's talk about that. Cesar, break in on that a little bit. Some of these guys will take them home, huh?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I should have. I thought it was a good idea, but Rogers actually, when he won his gold buckle, the day money steer that he won he got big. They roped him until he couldn't fit in the chute, and then he's out there, and he ended up passing away. And then he got they get the shoulders, the head out, and so I thought that was pretty deal, and he's got it on his wall now. So
that's pretty
cool. That memory forever, right there.
That's pretty cool. How often do those guys try to buy them from you like that, or just big special moments?
Well, okay, so I have good stories about this. So last year, Tanner Tomlinson bought 3. He bought the one he bought won the first round on, sealed the average on, and I think his 10th round steer. Don't quote me on that, but anyway.
Somewhere close.
He ended up buying 3. But we have had guys like Colby Level. So whenever Colby won the round or won the world in, what was that, 2020? COVID hit? Yeah. Okay, so Colby wins it. He's like, hey, I want the steer that I won the world on. We're like, all right. So Bobby Joe gets these special tags made for him, and we tag him. And Colby only lives maybe 50 miles down the road from us. We own this steer for 2 years before Colby comes and picks him up. He's in the pasture, and he's like, by the time he comes and gets him, he weighs probably.
So he's just driving by, watching you feed him with his tags in the ears.
I did put a TikTok video on there a long time ago, and because I call him the worthless herd because you can't do anything with them. They're just a bunch of damn roping steers. And so, and my husband is a collector of these things. So we've got, they won so much money. We even have steers that he roped in college. And he turns 40 this year.
Man.
Standing out in the pasture. And so I'm like, this steer they won so-and-so on him. This steer, we still have the steer that Marcus Terrio won the Ironman on. He's still standing in my pasture, too.
Nice.
I was like, this is Colby Level's steer that he won the world on. He's still standing in my pasture. So we just collect them. And eventually they'll come pick them up.
So let's talk about your husband a little bit. Benny.
Do we have to?
Yeah, sure. Okay. No. Benny's on our podcast, too. And he said that he grew up in high school, rodeoed with you guys, and it was a high school sweetheart story. I mean, that's the word I'm getting from Benny. I don't know.
Benny Mosley.
Benny Mosley?
Oh, Benny.
Benny Mo.
Benny.
No, it was not high school love. So Bobby Joe's, I graduated in 2004. Bobby Joe graduated in 2002. And he was roping with Colby Bashada, and Colby Bashada was still in high school, and so they had come to a high school rodeo, and anyways,
that stuff's legal in Texas?
What?
What was the age gap?
Well, no, it wasn't much. It was only 2 years. But anyway, so we saw each other, and I was heading, and he wanted to buy my head horse, and so that's how we kind of met. Well, then we get to college. We're both going to school at Hill College on rodeo scholarships, and the first time we officially met each other, we hated each other. That's
how all good stories start.
He thought I was a straight bitch, which I probably was. And then I thought he was just this cocky, arrogant prick. And he can still be that way every once in a while. But After that, nobody on TikTok knows this, so I'm fixing to share something that nobody knows.
Perfect.
But, so Bobby Joe and I, we've been married twice. To each other twice.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
So we've been married, divorced. But, I mean, all in all, it was because he was rodeoing all the time, and then I was working 6 days a week, and I would call him, and he'd be out partying, and I'm like, this ain't going to work. So I tell everybody, I'm like, the first divorce that we had was the best thing that ever happened to our whole thing. So after that, he calmed it down.
Set that butterfly free, and he came back.
Yeah. Now sometimes I'm like.
Big old circle.
Yeah, now sometimes I'm like, when are you like, going out of town? Are you leaving anytime soon?
You can go party and going to be gone for about a week or something.
Yeah. Don't you got some steers to take somewhere?
Yeah.
You got a rodeo, you got to take these steers to.
Yeah. Well, this part's real interesting to me. So how long do you rope the steers for? You cross them out of Mexico, right?
Yes.
And how are they when they come out of Mexico? Yes, and I mean, you can size them.
They're lately the ones we've been getting have only been weighing about 375. They're little. I mean, they're little rats compared to what we used to get. We used to get, number one bulldoggers come across right at 425, perfect horns. Now it's just getting harder. And a lot of the reason is, for one, it's harder to get the cattle because everybody's putting beef bulls on their cows down there. So it's even harder for us to get them. So the ones that we're getting now, they're just so much smaller. But, they're coming across, they're close to 2 years old. And then for the NFR steers, we start getting them together in the spring, and we'll get together 100 head, and we'll just turn them where we live. There's grass.
So we don't know about that stuff.
So we turn them out in the pasture, and we just kind of let them grow. And then come, I guess, November, Bobby Joe sends them all to Caleb Drigger's house. And then the top 15 guys, they're all invited to come, and they break them in. The steers they'll run them through once, put 2 runs on them. They stay there for 2 days, send them back home. While they're at home, they're on full feed and alfalfa.
They're definitely on full feed.
Yeah. And so then we send them to the Jingle Bell Classic, which is Ben Clement's Extreme Team Roping. They rope them in the open, and then Bobby Joe and Caleb pick the 60 that come to the NFR. And then once they get to the NFR, they rope through them, and y'all rope through them, and you pick the 3 sets, right?
Yep.
The 3 pins.
Try to match them up.
Yeah. Big set, little, strongest set, little set, big set.
There seems like there's a few strong ones in every single set.
Yeah.
Seems like there's a couple them guys are trying to not draw, especially the average and stuff, and they're trying to draw the better end of them. But I talked to Caleb Schmidt, and he was talking about it's impossible to put an even set of calves together, same size, same everything. I feel that same thing for the steers.
Yeah.
We're trying to bring steers that the guys are going to win a world title on. They got to be able to rope steers that are a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, everything to be crowned a world champion. And like these steers are dang tough. And the guys that win a gold buckle this year, they earned it. And I think that's how it should be.
Yeah. That's what people on TikTok, they're like, keep me posted on NFR. I'm like, I don't even know right now who's winning the average, because it's just, I've been going so many different directions since I've been here, and I've just.
You'll be able to update them after tonight. It's like you can't really till 8, 9, and 10. It's so much stuff goes on, and just a few nights ago, it looked like Clint Sumner's and Jake Long had it, and now the guys right now, Coulter and Big A have them all caught, and there's still some teams right there real close.
What about Summer's head horse? That sucker's honest as the day is long. He is definitely
nice.
I was out there with Brandon Adams when he was starting that herd, and Rooster, Patrick Smith's got that horse down the stallion, but they Transmission and Rooster, and they had a couple of the colts. We started all at the same time, but Transmission is actually, and you're gonna laugh at this and think it's awesome, but he's actually the best in the pasture opens.
Really?
When he was 4, they headed and heeled on him. They won dang near every hole. Brandon Adams and Dakota Curtis Lager, they tagged him, and they won heading and heeling on him, and they say that's probably the best pasture open heel horse there is.
Well, winners win. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter like if the horse doesn't do anything right, but he wins with no matter who's on him. Horses are winners.
Yeah, we talk about that too with some guys. It seems like they can switch horses, they can do whatever, they can have flat tires on the way here. As long as they get here and get on a horse, they're gonna win. You know, we have a guy that comes on, and we're huge supporters of this kid. His name's we call him Little Mike Camelot, but he's not really little.
Grown ass man now.
Yeah, he's grown
15
now.
15 years old, grown ass man.
Yeah, he just turned 15 like 2 weeks ago, and he's a 9+.
9+.
Yeah, he's a 9+, and it. I mean, give him a stick horse. I mean, he's gonna win. He's a winner, and winners win. So, I totally agree with that. Why don't you walk us like kind of through a day of being the steer guru here at the NFR? I mean,
at home or here?
No, here.
Oh, here I don't do anything. I get up, drink Bloody Marys.
Well,
and
I don't know.
Rodeo.
I mean,
and then just watch the rodeo go.
But where were you today? You were watching roping, right?
Oh yeah, somebody was riding my horse at the finale.
Oh, okay.
So
do you have any steers over there?
No,
no steers over there.
No steers over there. We had the contract for that. Us and Jeff Hilton had the contract for that in 2020 when COVID hit. So we went and bought I think we bought 5 loads to bring out here, and then
that's 500 steers.
Yeah, and then COVID hit, and they canceled it, and so it was not good for us.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's when the old steer market went to the direction I enjoy.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
That's where I like the steer market. That's why I said as soon as the Canadians and everybody start leaving Arizona, boy, I'm around there with a pocket full of money and a big old trailer, because they'll just
feed them out.
Yeah.
For how long?
Oh man, that's a question, right? So a guy feeding Corey Indies that's trying to get somebody to buy into it's going to tell you 120 days, but that's not true.
Ours stay on for almost a year.
Yeah, no, I get them white in about 220 days.
Yeah,
I can get them to white, and that's what I got to have them. So
yeah.
Once they're white and we can roll. So, but they're definitely some that just will never do it. Like they're just some that you know, I don't know, they don't have enough of this or that or whatever it is in them, but they'll just never finish out.
Yeah, we that's what we do with all of our steers. Whenever they're no good, we cut their horns off, send them to the feed yard. 220, you know, on sure enough, when their rate of gain is high, they're good. But I mean, some of them.
Yeah, it's like I said.
The feed yard calls, and they're like, they're just not there.
Yeah, you might as well take this one back and rope it or something. Or give it to one of your guys and put their ear tags in it. I don't know, something like that. Because they're not going to gain. So, is there a lot of people over there in Texas feeding them out, or?
No. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of feed yards, but they're all up north. Okay. So, like, we send ours to Hereford, which is 7 hours away.
Amarillo area.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of feed yards.
A lot of them up there.
Yeah, and for a while we got to where the feed yards wouldn't take them because they were just overran with cattle. Well, now they're
a little different now.
Yeah, now they're taking them, so it helps us out a lot. But that's the only place that we can really have an out with our cattle, just because we have so many, and so that's just the best thing for us to do.
Yeah, our potential's still pretty high in Texas.
Yes.
I mean, they're crazy.
Well, all of ours come from Mexico.
Right. Everything. You only buy them from Mexico.
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Now, for a while there, when they had the border shut down, we were having to buy native cattle. And but that was a while back. Lately, we've only bought inbred Corrientes. And so, but we do a lot of rodeos around Texas, and that's the only thing that they'll let you rope is inbred. So it's just easier for us just to have a uniform set.
Yeah, it's probably a lot easier. What's your favorite rodeo you go to besides this one? And I don't even know if this one's your favorite.
Heck, I don't even know. I've been to all of them, and now I don't want to go to any.
So a lot of people say that, right? A lot of people say, I don't want to go to any more rodeos. I've been to every rodeo. I'm tired of going to rodeos. The first 2 weeks you ain't allowed. You couldn't go to a rodeo. You'd be itching to go, I bet.
No, I wouldn't. I've turned into a hermit. Like, I'm almost 40, and I've just gone and gone and gone so much that now I'm like, I just want to stay at home. Yeah. I don't. And my son's 9, so he's into all kinds of stuff. And
what's he do?
He likes to play football, and then he's got a Jersey cow with 3 half Holstein, half Angus calves on it, and he's got a herd of goat roping goats, and he's got dogs, and he's got just everything. Chickens. He's got 2 wild pigs.
There you go.
Like pets? Like there's buddies?
The pigs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They are now.
We were talking to Kincaid earlier about Texas football and how it's just so much different than anywhere else.
Oh, it's
in the
crazy.
US. The whole entire town goes to an away game. They shut down. It's like you watch Varsity Blues for the first time and you think, that's a little exaggeration. But
no, it's not.
It's 100% how it is over there. what I seen when I went and we, my wife and my daughter and myself went and toured the Baylor campus and kind of checked out Waco. Of course, we had to go to the silos. And
Magnolia.
Oh yeah, Magnolia. Yeah, we left there with some gifts, and it was crazy because we went to the Waco High School homecoming football game on Friday night. Different level. Like I tell everybody that I know, if you've never been to a Texas high school football game and you have a choice between going to an NFL game or going to Texas and watching a high school football game, go watch the high school football game. I promise you it'll be better.
100%.
You'll have way more fun.
Oh, way more fun. Way more fun. So I think we got a question. Huh? Oh, we're talking to the executive producer right now.
The CEO, if you will.
Merry Christmas if I don't see you again. Merry Christmas.
Does he have to go rope?
No.
Oh.
So he's trying to hide it, but he's nervous as a knocked up nun. He's got to rope tomorrow, and what he's roped 2 times this year.
He come to the house. We did some donkey roping.
Yeah, so 3 times.
We did some donkey roping over the house. Got him tuned up.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, you either got to do that or practice all the time. Like you can't even, if you practice 5 times, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, and it's just do it like Caleb Schmidt and Derek Begay said. They don't need. Just
go catch the wild ones.
If you know how to rope, just go rope.
Yeah, go catch the wild ones. Call it good.
No big deal.
No
easy
biggie.
peasy lemon squeezy.
I always roped so much better when I wasn't thinking about it. And then I got hardcore in 2019. I was going to every jackpot, every team roping, and I was going and getting people to help me rope better and this and that, and it just went downhill. And I was like, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. We're going to drink beer as soon as we get up, and we're just going to go. Because when I'm practicing, I'm drinking beer, so we're just going to go to rope and drink beer the same way we practice and just roll on with it.
Yeah. So having all these steers here and having all these guys, obviously, you know them all. I mean, your phone's probably a Rolodex of the who's who. But do you get a lot of, over the 10 days between you and your husband and everybody, do you guys get a lot of calls of just pissed off people? Why is that steer in the draw and blah, 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 blah? I mean, I know this sounds funny for me to ask that question, but that's what the listeners are going to want to know, right? You're the lady that owns the steers. They're going to want to know if somebody's calling pissed off.
Yeah, no.
So I got to be the go-between.
So I don't take those calls because they probably don't want to hear what I have to say. Bobby Joe takes most of those calls. But, I so the funny thing about going back to TikTok is that I feel like I started it to kind of start educating people on the way because so many people are on social media and they don't know the other side of what it takes to go in there and do all this. So I'm like, this is where I'm going to educate these people on how this whole process works. And so I feel like with that, more people kind of know how the process works. But I remember one time I made a video and because everybody was griping about the steers at Houston at the rodeo, and they weren't ours, but they were a friend of ours. And I got on there and I said, look, there's a main stock contractor at these rodeos. Mm-hmm. That main stock contractor subcontracts out these timed event cattle. And I said, they give you a number of what they're going to pay you. And if it's not what you want, you're not going to send your best cattle. So
business, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to send number one steers that have been broke in and, cream of the crop whenever you're not paying jack shit to rope them.
What were they going for during Houston this year? $900, $1,000 around for a nice, good M brand steer?
To buy them?
Yeah. I mean, just to buy an M brand steer and you're going to take them to Rodeo Houston. They're not going to, rodeo, and they're not going to pay you out. You're not going to take a number one fresh one that you just got off the truck over there that costs $1,000. You're not going to take that.
Yeah, and get their wheels knocked out from underneath them.
Right. You're going to take something that, you're not going to get, you're going to get the steers that we're going to take to the slides, and this is what you guys are going to get to rope. Yeah. I've had to deal with the taking some steers to some rodeos out there, and it's tough sometimes. If you're not, like I said, you got these really good ones that cost a lot of money, and you've had these other ones that are making you money, and just keep making. You're going to take these ones and kind of take care of the ones that cost us that. They're literally $1,000 around, and you're talking about you got to buy a load. Mm-hmm. That is a you can do the math. That's 100 100 steers, $1,000 a load. There you go. That's a lot of money invested in your cattle.
Yeah. And so, I mean, people, and I feel like I have tried to educate people, and I have had people come up to me and they're like, man, I just love your videos because, you know, there's so much that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, I have been in the middle of, and this is not talking about the open roper guys talking about the cattle or anything, but, for instance, this year we sent, steers to the San Antonio, we had them at the main rodeo, but we also sent them to a youth rodeo that they had there. And so Bobby Joe sends like some 7-8 point steers for these kids to rope. Well, this one steer, I mean, he was a campaigner. And that's the thing about Mexican steers is once they get patterned, like they pretty much stay in that pattern until they're too big to rope. Mm-hmm. Well, we sent this one steer, and I guess he just had an off day. And y'all have probably seen this video, and I'm fixing to tell you about it. So he trots out. He's a black and white paint steer. Trots out. The parents post it on social media. This thing gets shared probably 1,000 times. And it's like, I can't believe we paid this money to go to this rodeo and have to rope this shit and blah, blah, blah. And like the comments on there, I had to get off Facebook for like a week because I was you
start to take it to heart.
So you can meet me here. Yeah. We'll settle this.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring Cesar's knife.
Yeah. So I get back on Facebook and this video pops up again. And I finally get on there and comment. And I said, look, nobody says one word about the thousands of steers that y'all have roped that have our brand on them. Nobody says a word about the good ones and the hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s of money that's won on them. I said, there's one steer that comes through there, and it's just all over here. And I said, if you have a problem with it, I know the stock contractor's phone number, and I will be happy to give it to you. Oh,
nobody probably asked for the number. I hope not.
It's impossible to be. You got 3 different pins just to match them up, size, horn, everything.
They're a live animal.
Yeah,
yeah, they have a mind. They're not robots. Yeah, they're not robots.
And like,
that would be boring.
Compliments to you because you did take them to the Jingle Bell Classic. They did get the best in the world rope them, and then I'm gonna say I've talked to a couple guys. They're stronger here. Mm-hmm. Then they
but
have
they've
been
got
the
them
whole,
on full alfalfa.
I'm telling you what, they got them on grain. It's everything.
So once we drop them off, like they handle all the feeding, the vet care, everything. We had one.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
we don't ever go feed them
really?
or anything. We did have one bloat the other day. Bobby Joe met the vet out there to
Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's the one they turned out for Caleb, right?
The morning. Yeah, that morning slack.
The slack.
Slack Wednesday.
Yeah. And so, so they I think Purina sponsors it.
Probably.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, somebody feeds them, and they are pouring the feed to them, and that's why they're so juicy in the chute. And I'm like, quit fighting the chute.
Yeah,
I feel so bad for Andy Hilton.
Oh man, but that guy.
Yeah. You like it's a different like the bulldog and steers, right? But like it's a different. I guess they get on full alfalfa, but. They are juicy color. Right now.
Yes,
like
and so like the bulldog and steers, most of them have gone to rodeos all year, and so the bulldoggers like they know how to. Our steers have probably only been in a chute maybe 8 times at the most, and so then you start pumping.
Nobody pushing them.
Yeah, nobody pushing them. If they had something pushing them out, it was just a rope behind their tail. Just pushing them out.
But on the flip side of that, if you guys would have brought some here that had been everywhere. Somebody would have something to say about that.
One would have stopped.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Somebody would have had something to say about that.
That's what you don't want.
And it could still happen. So.
I don't think the set you brought over, there's not going to be any stoppers. Like they're not roped out enough where they're going to try to do that kind of trick. They're trying to get away.
Yeah.
Like everyone is like, we talked to Clay Smith a little while ago, and one of the rounds that he split, he said that he couldn't get going fast enough. Like he had his... And he nodded, and he went with the steer, and it wasn't fast enough. That steer split the chutes and went, and he threw all his rope, and they were still 4 flat. But he said that sucker right there was something else. Like they're fast. They want to go, so you're not going to have anything try to set up. And you have some that are kind of going a little bit to the left, but they're just in their left lead over there. They step that way, and they're going. It's not like they're really dropping so far. But they had one steer step to the right, and it was almost like he's seen something to the left, and he just like jumped to the right. I think Peyton Bray had him in round maybe 3, something like that.
Maybe so.
There's something 4, but yeah, it was one of the rounds that they hadn't been run through yet.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty juicy right there. Like it's awesome, but like you said, you're not going to have any steer stop this week.
The one thing that I hate that I wish we could change is, so whenever we cross them from Mexico, they have those TB clips in their ears.
Yes, yeah.
And then we have to ear tag them too, and they have to have uniform tags coming up here. So all of them have 1 through 60. But a lot of times those metal clips will they'll get infected, and then we'll put horn wraps on them, and so then their heads start hurting. Well, then they come out and they start dropping their heads, and that's the one thing, because somebody will just whip it off. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, man, I wish but it's law that we have to keep those tags in their ears, and so I just wish that we could take them out completely, but we can't.
But honestly, that's kind of like the tag on the mattress law, right? Like, what's it matter? Once you guys brand them,
they fall off all the time.
Yeah. They do fall off all the time.
But
we also have Texas Animal Health Commission at our house all the time.
Right. I know, but I'm just saying, like,
you take them to rodeos, they have to stay on.
They have to have TB
100%.
papers and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's an
and
ordeal.
I know, but it's a good argument, right?
Yeah.
They get infected. They're doing their job.
Yeah.
That's the same thing we had over there. Like we were some guys were breaking away some calves, and they were getting them from us, and like it was working cool. And then we got some brand inspector out there, and he had to puff his chest out a little bit, and we couldn't send these breakaway calves until that brand was completely peeled. And I told him, well, by the time that brand is completely peeled and I go regather these calves, they're going to go to the feed lot. They're not going to go to the breakaway guys. Yeah. They're going to be too big. So some of that stuff, man, they need to work with the industry,
Update it a little bit.
What would be ideal is if they would number brand their horns with their TB tags, because they would never fall off until like when we ship them to
What a great idea. I never thought of that.
Yeah. So whenever we ship them to the feed yard, we cut their horns off, but at the same time, all of the health inspector has to come out there, write health papers for them to get shipped to the feed yard. So they would have the numbers before they cut them off.
Why couldn't they chip them? Or
True.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could chip
They
them.
do have RFID tags in their ears.
Yeah, they're plastic,
little buttons.
Right? Yeah. And those don't get infected.
Too.
Yeah. I know those don't, but they don't get as
no,
infected.
They
as
don't.
The metal ones.
The metal ones get infected.
Yeah, the metal ones are bad. Yeah. They're clinging on everything, hitting on feed bunks. Yeah, we go through the same thing. So, I think that could be updated. Like that's kind of from a long time ago, I think, right?
Nobody wants to change. Well, you're dealing with the U.S. government too. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good business. They cross a lot of cattle.
Yeah,
they could if they wanted to, but you said it's
they
want to, they would.
My wife, bless her heart, she works with the USDA.
Oh gosh, bless her heart.
She works with them every day, and it's at least in basketball, the rules. In football, the rules. When you're dealing with the government, it's that's not how that rule's interpreted.
Yeah.
We're going to change that up a little bit,
Big Lebowski. There's this there are rules. There has to be rules here.
Right. So let's jump into your social media a little bit. Like, they're freaking funny. Like, your TikToks are pretty funny. Like, what made you start it? You touched on it a little bit, and was it to educate people, or were you like, this TikTok thing's pretty cool, I'm going to make some funny videos? Because the guys I have at my house are a bunch of, jokesters.
So I started, I guess. What was it? I guess it was the 2021 NFR. I just got on there and made some videos, about getting the steers ready to go, and kind of got some momentum. And then I was doing some NFR updates on the rounds. I was way better than I am this year. This year I've just been like, I don't know what's going on. And so it just kind of kept growing from there. And then, my favorite thing is when people tell me I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, that's fun.
So then I get to make some replies on there about that.
So she's downplaying it a little bit. 58,000 followers.
That's kind of downplaying it a lot.
Yeah. 925,000 likes. Okay.
You go live on that all the time?
No.
No,
I've never went live on there at all.
But here, I'll just give you, Cesar, you're going to be the only one to see this. So all you have to see is the first 6 videos right here and the expressions on her face, and you'll know that this is a hilarious page. That is every.
Well, that one I was doing at the bar at South Point, and I was like, I feel like an idiot doing this right here.
That's literally.
And I was hoping nobody would walk by and be like, because I do have people come up to me and they're like, "You're the girl on TikTok," and I'm like,
"You're the TikTok lady."
Yeah,
and they're like, "You're TikTok Tara."
You're an influencer.
No, I am not an influencer.
Yeah, you are. That's what.
Like
it's
when
called.
she puts herself in the corner of the alleyway.
That's educating. I'm educating.
Right.
Educational purposes.
Yeah.
No, these things are great. Like we watch them. I'm always like my wife. I'm like, look, this is funny.
Yeah, those are the wild hogs.
Oh,
Show Cesar. Those are our little pigs.
Oh, that's why they're your buddies.
But they're not. Now they're about this big.
Oh, they're gonna get real big. They'll get kind of protective of the yard.
They are.
Sherry Serby had some javelina over there.
Oh, those are bad.
Yeah, and she got them pretty gentle, where the whole family and the workers around there, they were cool with them. But the post office guy, they bit the post office guy, and Sherry had to put him down. They weren't allowed to have them.
That's crazy. I still have those in pens right now, but I told Tripp, my son, I was like, we're fixing to turn these things out because I'm tired of jacking with them.
So TikTok, and the reason that I messaged you is one of those. I can't remember which one, but you literally, the first thing out of your mouth was, "Y'all, I need a podcast." And I was like, you know what? I can't give you a podcast, but I can bring you on one. So I messaged her.
Yeah, I was talking about the Colby Payne deal, and they were like,
"Yeah, let's talk about that." Nobody wants to talk about that.
Man, it's a touchy deal. It's a tough deal.
I mean, it's a touchy deal, but it is what it is. I just stated facts.
It wasn't his fault. The PRCA messed up, and like I said, you can see his deal, but he did go to too many rodeos.
Yeah, and
rules are rules.
Yeah, and I feel like, do you remember the PRCA got hacked? By the Russians or something like that?
Was that middle of the year,
summer,
right?
Yeah. And so I feel like that I don't know if that changed it all.
Yeah.
And then when they audited it, they came back. But I do feel bad for Colby and I love Colby to death. I've known him since him and Andrew Hill were 7-8 years old. And, but he called and they told him he still had I think they had told him he only had 73 rodeos. And so he was like, all right. So he goes, wins money at the Governor's Cup. And we all think, and I was at my friend's beach house that weekend, and they're good friends with him as well. And we were like all pumped up. We were like, Colby made it. Like we all text him. We were like, good job and all this stuff. And then they came back and I was like, well, shit.
But my thing was it like it like ping pong back and forth a couple times.
Yeah, but they would never say like if they said Colby was in, so I'm like, okay, well, are Colby and Tyler in? And so that's 16 teams, which isn't, everybody's like, well, you can't take 16 teams. Well, they've took 16 bull riders last year. They've taken 16 bulldoggers before. They've taken 16 bareback riders before.
But I feel like that takes away from the...
I agree. I mean, that would have meant we sent 3 extra steers.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think that takes away from it. Something that we skipped over that I want to go back to, and then we can come back to this before I forget, because this definitely happens. You forget shit.
I've had about, I don't know, 3 Bloody Marys and 2 more mixed drinks on the way here. So I'm ready to talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. So you're good to roll.
So can you get a rerun?
At the NFR?
Oh.
If it's a malfunction.
Meaning?
Like a chute malfunction?
Yeah. Yep.
Or but not
the neck rope stays on the steer.
Yep.
But not a livestock malfunction.
No. And I wish.
So the roughies can get a reride.
Yes.
But you guys can't get a rerun.
Yeah. So say tonight, round number 9, Derek and Coulter walk in winning the average, and the steer all of a sudden decide this 9th round. This is this set of steers' 3rd run.
These are the goodies, correct?
Yeah, these are the goodies.
These are the good ones.
These are the good ones.
So it should be fast, especially if everybody out of the average, they're going to be gunning for it. So it's either going to go real good or real bad either way.
This is a set that were 3-1 on it, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a very fast set of steers.
Yeah. And so they're either going to, I mean, if the steer comes out tonight and decides that, hey, I'm going to just put both my back feet in the ground and never pick up, sorry, luck of the draw. And I hate it because I wish...
That's tough.
It's a 2-sided sword, because the Cowboys are like, well, I had to run him. They have to run him. And I get that. But if you're on the other end and you drew him.
Well, one of the years there was a set of steers. We broke them in. They were good. And then the steer just started to walk.
Yeah.
And
I saw the video of that.
He took out
JoJo posted that video.
Me and Derek were the only ones to catch him. That was the fastest I've ever been at the finals, 3-6.
Yeah, I remember that.
He took everybody out, and Chad Masters had a chance for the gold buckle, and he had that steer in the last round, and he missed him. You know what I mean?
What's funny about that, so that video, JoJo posted it on the video of that steer that walked out at San Antonio that I was talking about with the kids, and JoJo posted it, and he was like, day money all day watching this.
3-6 all day long. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Well, me and Begay grew up roping steers like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Uncle George, we had train horses all the time. So, yeah, I roped steers for 3 years. You know what I mean? By the third year, they were walking and trotting. That's all they did. So, like, it was no big deal to me. But
practice run.
Yeah, all these guys are wanting to bring in a freshman. Once they start getting tricky, that bring in a freshman.
Yeah, but that's the deal. If one of them decides to walk out.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit.
Like that's what I mean. That scenario, they could have been like, okay, he walked out. There's a lot
of things that'll foul you.
He walked out in the first round.
Yeah,
they could have been like, okay, we're taking that steer off, we're putting the extra or whatever, and they're like, no, they had to run him, and so he stays in the herd.
Yeah, the only way.
No, they can do that in the calf roping. Sometimes they can pull one off if it's looks like it's hurt, like wanting to walk out of there. They won't run him. They'll run the extra.
Yeah, because I mean anything. Them guys, the bull stumbles and impedes himself in any way, bumps a gate, does this, does that, lays down too much. Those guys all get rerun.
Was the bronc rider the bronc got down its belly, then jumped up, and they give him a reride just for that? But he was still 80 something.
Yeah,
83.
Did you see that horse that caught his leg over the top of the chute last night?
Was that guy's leg all right?
Yeah.
Like
I haven't heard.
I could have. Well, I was like,
he took a reride.
He did?
Yeah.
I thought he broke his leg for sure.
I know.
Well, I thought Kai Hamilton would still be asleep after that deal.
He ain't no pussy.
Ain't no pussy.
That was the coolest TikTok ever, isn't it?
Maybe.
Like I've seen that one. I've been watching all morning. I reposted it.
How about the 8-second media guy? He's like,
Steve Kenyon.
Yeah, Steve Kenyon.
Kenyon's like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
He's laughing though. He's like, "Thank you, just made me famous."
Yeah, again. He's thinking to himself, "Cowboy Channel, eat your heart out."
yeah.
Right.
The best interview ever.
Everybody wants those kind of interviews. That's why you grab those guys every chance you get, because it's like
they're raw and real. That's what I like.
That was the best answer.
Yeah.
I mean, just
100%. That's the truth.
What other inspiration are you going to give somebody right there? That's all there is to it right there. You got to toughen up. You're going to be in a bull riding game, I promise you.
I mean, I remember when we were little kids just roping around the house or doing whatever, and the joke always was like, 9th round of the NFR, you're leading the world and you like break your arm. What do? You tape it.
Yeah.
You just keep going. Like
cowboy.
Yeah, I mean, you're a cowboy. You just keep going, but everybody was taught and raised to be John Wayne. But you look at Kai Hamilton, and that's a throwback right there. Like I'm going to go ahead and put this out there again. I did call Kai Hamilton winning the world this year.
Man, yeah.
And everybody, and a little something to that. I didn't know Stetson was going to get hurt.
Yeah, that was a bad deal.
That was a bad deal. But
that's a bad deal.
And Kai's not won yet, but he's right there in the thick of it.
I don't know if he can be caught. He's number 1, right?
He's number 1, but Sage Kimsey keeps becoming the only one to ride in the round, and 100,000 a night goes into his deal.
There's still 2 more nights.
And I don't know. I don't really follow the bull. I only watch bull riding because my kid watches it, so I'm not in a whole bull riding deal. But.
Yeah, I get so excited when we get to talk about bull riding on here.
I like.
Are you an ex-bull rider?
No. I used to have bucking bulls, and I fought bulls for a long time when I was a kid. So I like it. We went and did some PBR stuff and stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But this guy right here, I've been around a lot of bull riders, and that guy's got more bull rider in him than anybody I know.
I love it.
Tell her your bull riding story.
Have you rode bulls?
No, I just rode steers. I'm not like Kai Hamilton.
Tell me things hit hard.
One of my favorite. Well, I mean, I'm always pulling bull ropes. I'm always hanging out with them guys. Like those, I always had. Chandler Bounds, a buddy of mine that rodeoed with me, and like I travel with him, and the wolf pack, the bronc riders and stuff like that. I just love the roughies, just kind of their attitude. So St. Paul, Oregon, we're just hanging out. I'm with my tiny event buddies, Dakota Kirchslogger back in Russell Cordoza, and Brock Crest when he was alive, and Spencer Mitchell. All these guys were my buddies, and we're just hanging out. And I got to telling them, hey, you guys are a bunch of tiny event pussies. I'm gonna go hang out with my real friends, the real men in rodeo. We're gonna go hang out with these bull riders over there at St. Paul. The bull riding, they got 2 sections. They got to start off the rodeo and then end the rodeo and bull riding. So I get over there, and it's second bull rider out. You know, one of the right off the bat, the guy's like, "Hey, can you give me a spot?" Sure thing. I give him a spot. You know, heck yeah. Like, I'm more than happy to. You just made my day.
I'm back here behind the chutes.
Thank you, man. You know, another bull rider buddy. All right, you know what I mean. So I give him a spot, and he was making a pretty good ride. Got whipped down, and this bull spun right in the latch. It was right here, happening right in front of me, and I want to say Dusty Tuckness. He was a bullfighter. He pulled the bull rider out of there. Another bullfighter sent him, you know, the bull off it was a cool save, you know, perfect teamwork. And I'm like right there, like, yeah, that was awesome, you know. And when that bull shot off the other way, he jumped and kicked the bells right back to the bucking chutes. And I had a straw hat, and it hit me like it was flying fast like a bullet. It just came my way, and I put my hat down just a little bit, and it smacked me on the head. And like I just managed to pull my cowboy hat up, and my eyebrows split like I just got hit by Muhammad Ali.
Oh my God.
Just my eyebrow just hanging down like this over my head. Am I bleeding? I was like, I just felt this warm, you know, liquid on my face. Am I bleeding? He's like, oh yeah, you're bleeding. The Justice Sports Medicine, they just lifted me up both arms and just taking me out of the arena. They had the bull roped on the other end of the arena there, and the bull
Did it knock you off the chute?
I was just in the back, you know, like in the back there. Like it hit me, and I kind of stepped back a little bit, kind of stunned me a little bit. There's, you know, bull rides right now. I looked at one guy's, am I bleeding? He said, you're bleeding,
You're
dude.
definitely bleeding.
The Justice Sports Medicine people, they're all kind of right there, you know. They got all them guys. Well, they lifted me up, and it wasn't like just like that.
Did you have to rope that day?
No, I was done.
Oh.
It was one of them days I didn't have a very good day at St. Paul, and I was kind of pissed off. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to go not think about roping. No, I'm going to go hang out with my bull rider.
I'm going to go hang out with some bull riders, change my luck.
And I had kind of a shitty attitude about that, you know, like I was mad, you know, and man, it just kind of, you know, rodeo. So it's pretty funny, right? So I'm getting carried out. They got the bull roped at the end of the arena, and they were kind of getting him drugged back. Well, I'm going. I don't know if you've ever been to St. Paul. They got a big grandstand on the right side. It's just like a big old bowl of people, you know.
Yeah.
Grandstands. On the right hand side, I got a standing ovation. They all give me like, I had one guy give me a high five, and like, you know what I mean.
For getting hit in the face.
Well, you're gonna be all right. They thought I was a bull rider. They thought I was a bull rider the whole time. You'll be all right, cowboy. You'll get him next time. Like, this is what it's like. You get bucked off, and everybody thinks you're the baddest ever. You got a little bit of blood, and
you're just the coolest cow walking.
This is what I missed right here. This is what I was dreaming of my whole life. Is this kind of respect.
Just need a standing ovation.
Man, it was funny. I got stitches, and my hat didn't fit very good at all for the next rodeo.
What did your team roper buddies say when you got back to the parking lot?
Did you make up a good story at least?
Had to
when
be
you
good.
got
They
back?
were all laughing at me. They thought it was funny because I called them all pussies before I went over there, and they were all laughing at me, you know. And so then, you know, Derek especially, he thought that was funny because we're always pulling bull ropes and hanging out.
So why haven't you rode a buffalo like Derek?
Well, that one is an Indian rodeo, and you have to be, you know, you got to be native for sure.
I didn't know that was. I thought that was just some rodeo.
You can't do that kind of stuff.
They do that at amateur rodeos
in
around
Oklahoma
our house
and stuff like that, Texas and stuff like that.
Texas, they do. They call it like they'll bring fans out of the stands.
People get mad at that kind of stuff. Did you see that video that Jiggers and Junior put on? Jet Johnson up in Casper, Wyoming. They go hang out there all the time. Jet's cool. And he's got some buffaloes out there, and they brought you wasn't very old, you know. He had nice little horns, but he's a little bitty guy, and they made a hell of a run on this buffalo. It was a cool run. Yeah, they had to take the post down. Chelsea Schaefer said they had to take the post down.
I remember that. Chelsea was telling us
because she got a lot of hate on that kind of stuff. Dang. And they were gonna get Junior and Caleb in trouble for that kind of stuff, so she had to take it down.
You can't rope a buffalo around the neck, right?
No, they got it. Not like a cow. Yeah. It breaks their windpipe. Yeah. But if you're cowboy enough, you can get around the horns. Yeah, I'm not. They should have an event like that where it's team roping. But if you get the neck, no time, half head, no time. Strictly 2 horns, 2 feet.
So when I was growing up, my dad, he was a big time hunting guide, and he would always go to these exotic sales because they would buy Barbados and stuff and take them to this ranch. And he was always like, I'm going to buy some wildebeest, and that's what we're going to rope. I was like, I don't think that's going to work.
I wonder, they're kind of mean, huh?
I would think so. But they're big. I think they'd get big.
They got the coolest looking horns.
They do.
They do.
I'd kind of like to rope them. I think that'd be kind of cool.
But that's what he would always tell me. He was like, we're going to get some wildebeest. And
we're going to have big roping, and we're going to have nothing but wildebeest.
Just,
wildebeest is a short go.
Yeah, maybe just have it for the bounty.
You could do it in a pasture rope. You could do it somewhere like Arizona, and it'd look like it's in the desert.
Yeah, that's all Arizona is.
That's exotic.
You ever get out there to Arizona?
I went yeah, I've gone.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. I've gone.
I don't remember. Little foggy.
I don't remember when, but I've been there.
You know how she likes to rope. She drinks a little beer.
Yeah.
Goes to rope.
Just forgot.
Little foggy.
I've been to Vegas every year since I was 19. Okay.
Wow.
So it just melts.
You got to have a heck of a player's account.
Yeah.
It's got to be pretty official.
So I'll tell you a story. So last year,
I'd like flag you down. We're over here.
Yeah. Last year we stayed at South Point. I roped the last year there, and Bobby Joe roped, so we just stayed there. And we both lost our asses between roping and gambling. Like, lost a lot.
You can't put a price on fun.
No, definitely not. We had blast. But so we get home, and the day after we get home, the casino host calls Bobby Joe, and he's like, why are they calling me? I'm like, I don't know, answer.
You're like, oh, shit.
So he answers the phone, and they're like, Mr. Hill, we hope that you enjoyed your stay here at South Point. Is there any way that we can offer you a 2-room suite to come back next year?
You're like, we're coming anyways, but thanks for the room.
Yeah. He's like, we'll be there. Just put us down.
You guys lost so much money over here. We're going to help you out.
We're getting suites.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad.
So
this year might be going the exact same way if we don't.
Yeah.
That's the deal with team ropers. Well, you might not be a gambler, but
I'm not.
Okay,
I am.
So at South Point, Eric's a gambler.
I get mad. I'll start cussing the dealer when she wins or he wins.
And they smile.
I get mad.
Like they're taking your money home?
Well, yeah, it's just like they took my $100. You think you're gonna go like we're gonna fight, you sucker? Like I hate bullies. I got picked on. I got my lunch money taken.
Have you seen my knife?
Let me whip this out here. I need you to deal me a blackjack right now. Yeah, but that's the deal. So at South Point, it's a bunch of team ropers. Well, we all have this. Well, most of us have this mentality like you just keep entering.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep entering. You're going to win.
100%.
Yep.
And that's what we do.
You're going to win big, too.
Yeah,
you're going to win big.
Win
so
big.
you're max betting and entering max bet.
Yeah.
Max bet.
Yeah.
You're going to win $100,000, no problem.
And that's the deal. Like, we just have this mindset. I'm like, it's the same way at jackpot. Like, you go to, whenever I first started team roping, you could go to like 3 for $20, $10 a man. And it's like, you want to rope? Yep. You want to rope? You want to rope again? We missed that one. You going to rope again? And you win $100 and your fees are $300 and you've killed a head horse by the end of the night.
That sounds like barrel racing.
But that's the mentality is like, we just keep entering. We'll win something. Yeah. We might not win anything back, but we'll win something.
Let's talk about that hunt. There's team ropers and cowboys. We've discussed that a little bit. I think we had somebody on here this morning that will go down in Arizona as one of the greatest on both sides. It was Derek. Mm-hmm. Right, very soft spoken, very easy does it. But he even says that when he's out there and he's watching them boys work or he's having to go, he says inside he gets pretty wound up. You just don't see it. So over there where you're at, I've heard some real good cowboys come out of there.
Yeah.
Who's some of the best cowboys to come out of your area?
Like
that people would know about, like maybe Colby Lovell.
Yeah, there's Colby.
I heard he's pretty good.
Colby's pretty handy. I feel like, which I've known Colby ever since I was in high school, but he's very handy with the horse. He came and tripped some steers with us before he left to go to the Ironman last year, and he was helping me, with my horsemanship and something. And I feel like I'm not saying that I'm like super handy with the horse, but I feel like I can ride a horse better than a lot of the team ropers that I rope against in the lower number ropings. But Colby was just telling me little things, to do that I wouldn't ever think about, like he was like, don't let that horse, he's like, when you get that rope off of him at the strip and shoot, he was like, don't let him have a break by the time until you get him to the box, then you let him have a break. And I was like, I feel like I'm killing him. He's like, he'll figure it out. He'll know that that's his safe spot. Just let him chill. And so, like, Colby's just so handy. Catch Weaver, you know who that is? Trick roper. Mm-hmm. He lives maybe 20 miles down the road. Pretty handy. He's not a great team roper, but he can do all kinds of rope tricks and rope anything out in the pasture and, do all this stuff. We have a lot. There's a lot of guys.
Do you know that guy, Buster
Pearson?
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I was just at the Kerry Kelly bit booth and he was there.
That guy's pretty handy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I don't know where he lives.
It's Dale Brisby country, I believe.
Wherever
I think
Dale's
he
Franklin?
Buster's out there by I know he works for 4-6. I don't know if he lives out there, but
that's far from me.
Yeah,
that's 3 states away.
In Texas, that is.
He's still in Texas, but it's like 3 states away.
Yeah. So we're more central Texas.
But you said what? You're like 40 miles from Waco?
Yeah.
So you're not far from there. Yeah, it is green over there. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Green, big oak trees, sand. So I grew up in Belton, and in Belton, it's black dirt and rocks. And when it would rain, your horses would have these huge dirt clods in their manes and tails, and you'd be having to get it off of them and all this stuff. And then whenever Bobby Joe and I got together, I moved to Mahia, and it's like sugar sand, and it's the best thing ever. I love it. I would never move back to Belton ever.
Ever again?
No.
In your whole wide life?
Nope.
Ain't happening.
Not happening.
So when these guys are coming to your ropings, like obviously there's these different styles, cowboys, team ropers, things like that, because we watch as fans and we can see the different styles. Somebody like Derek and Coulter, we talk about them a lot. Obviously, we're homies with them, but like the other night, and Clay Smith brought it up today, that was the greatest haze at the last 10 NFRs was what Coulter did for Derek, going down so he could fish it back on.
Yeah.
Is that some of the stuff you see out of like guys that are cowboys versus team ropers? Team ropers kind of they're there trying to be quick or whatever, and maybe they end up being a little faster sometimes because that's their craft. But do you see the difference in those guys?
I don't hang around with a whole lot of cowboys.
No, but I mean, like when you see them rope, like I mean, you've watched enough team rope, and I mean, like. I was telling these guys, I said, as far as I'm concerned, she's an aficionado on it. I mean, how many team roping runs have you watched over your life?
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I just had a penny for everyone that I've watched.
Right. So, I mean,
I mainly watch, but I don't really watch the roper. I'm more of I watch the horses.
Okay.
I'm a big head horse snob, especially when somebody comes in there and that horse just rates and has the right move and, snappy finish and all that stuff, or, he'll work. And we have the cattle at the Fort Worth horse show. Mm-hmm. And then at night they have bring back the top 50 or something. And I think usually a 3-6 is last hole. It gets so fast. And, but you get to watch, all these futurity horses, and that's what I like to watch. I'm not big on watching, the team roper.
The guy?
No.
Yeah. I got to go to my first futurity with these guys, and I wish I could remember this horse's name because all I can say is that big brown horse that Trevor rode. Mm-hmm. But that big brown head horse that Trevor's was, to me, I mean, bending.
4 years old.
4 years old. I don't know if you know him, but if I figure out what his name is or I remember what his name is, I'll send it to you. But just to watch some of them horses, like you said, it's just so amazing to watch them bend and the way those guys get them to work. And I mean, as soon as the rope goes on the horns, the heeler's set up. Like it's a done deal, So that is pretty cool to watch that stuff.
Yeah. Are you in the futurity horse game now?
I help Dakota K a lot. Dakota Curtis Lager.
Do you have? But are you?
I got a Riata buckle mare. I'm gonna get going, and it's expensive.
Oh, I know.
I ride for a few guys and stuff, but yeah, it's a expensive deal. Dakota, he's got about 45 outside horses to ride, and so he's only allowed to show 5 head horses and 5 heel horses, and so the extra ones that he's got over there, he'll say this owner would like to enter this deal. I can't put it on, I can't ride it. I already got these ones. He's gonna ride the number ones, the ones that are gonna win, for the clients, but. He's also got some other ones that are pretty nice that they're kind of on the back burner just a tick. So lets me get on them. Just kind of keeps me in the game a little bit.
Over at South Point, they're doing something with the Riata buckle. Like if you're riding a Riata buckle horse there, you might get a bonus. I don't know if it's by rotation or just if you make it to the short round or
I don't know. You win money on them. I think it's there's bonuses to win money on them Riata horses and I got a mare and eligible for that kind of stuff, and I'm looking forward to entering up. I got I guess 8 months to have it ready for the one in Guthrie.
The rope horse market is nuts.
Let's talk about that
Crazy.
horse you rode in Oklahoma.
The one I rode in Oklahoma. That's the Stallion.
The stud.
Yeah, it's a very nice horse. You know, he's bred out of Frenchman's Guy, and yeah, they're breeding them now to be strictly rope horses, and they found out, you know, the headers found out the barrel racers had these badass head horses this whole time. They're running barrels on them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they score good, they got rate and everything, and they can fly. It's like, man, it's kind of changed the game. Like transmission, you talked about that.
Yeah.
He's out of a world class or all-American racehorse mare. So he's out of a Hollywood Yates stud. So like he's bred to be a head horse, right? He's got the rate. He's gonna have the be able to drag his butt, and he's gonna be able to run.
Yeah.
You know? So like I think that's what they're breeding them now. Like, you know, the futurities, it's just like that. You're gonna ride a horse that the mom was good, the dad, you know, the dad's good. They won money, and now this colt, they're trying to keep the bloodlines going. And I think that's how they're making all their money, selling these horses for over $100,000. I think.
Who would have ever thought team roping, like, you know,
$250,000 for a head horse is just kind of like, it was unheard of, and now they're doing it all the time.
All the time.
It's like,
you can't even you can't even buy a prospect for less than almost 30 or 40.
But what will be paid out this year at the World Series?
Oh, yesterday at the 10 split 340 something thousand for first.
There you go.
And they probably paid, what, 15, 20 holes?
And so the Riata's giving incentives. So it's like letting them guys know, hey, next horse you buy a horse that's eligible for this Riata bucket. That's another bonus for some money over here, guys.
I've got a once in a blue moon roan gelding that we've started him. He's ready to start hauling. But he wasn't a Riata buckle stud for a while, but I don't know if they've ever put him in there.
Is he Royal Crown eligible? Because
maybe
that's a pretty cool show too. Like it's they'll rope calves on them, they'll barrel race on them, they'll breakaway on them.
Yeah, you need like 3 secretaries and a midget to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
It's getting crazy.
For me, it's just it helps me because I'm a low number header, so I can go, you know, enter a 10-9-8 roping and win. So Scott Cormos, the calf roper, he shoes my horses for me, and him and I'll get out there and we'll be talking about it. And one year I was like telling him how much I had won just team roping, and he was like, "That's some bullshit." He was like, "I go and go and go, and you've almost won more than I have." And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
That's the way the World Series set the game up, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I'm glad the game is evolving, you know, because now I've been slowing down riding these show horses, and there's more clients that are trying to get the nice horses. I mean, you get a show horse, they've been working him since he was 2. And he's pretty gentle, you know. He's going to ride around, and it's kind of cool for somebody who's never had one that can slide and spin.
Yep.
It is a cool ride. You know, you might not rope good on him, but just riding around, loping around, it's just like, fun. I like this horse. This is a good horse, and he's fun to rope on. I mean, what is, you know, a multimillionaire, you know, what's that cost? You know what I mean? $200,000, I'll take that horse.
No problem.
You know,
I'll take a couple of them.
And that's all they want is something that's gentle, that runs up there, puts them in the spot, same trip. They don't want anything that's like this big fire-breathing dragon or
they would fall
like
off of more than half of these
100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
All the guys sitting at home going, I'd have caught him.
Yeah. Like, that horse looks nice. I could ride that one. No, you can't.
No,
like, those horses are a lot. You know, they look like they're working really good, but there's a lot of buttons.
Anyone that thinks they can ride these heel horses should go to one of those fraternities and sit front row.
Telling you.
Because when they roll around the corner and hit the brakes, like, if you're sitting down there where I was and you're watching it.
Just trying to get a wrap. Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Somebody lost a thumb the other night over at South Point. I was sitting at the back, and his thumb came off, and Chase Mascale picked it up out of the arena, and they were walking out.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you get out of here. What's your evenings like? Do you go to the finals every night?
No.
Hang at the South Point.
I've been to.
If the South Point,
like I said, I've been to the NFR every year since I was 19. So I did go to the rodeo on Monday night.
I'm just telling
you. That was
right
my one appearance, and I'm done.
If the South Point doesn't give you a sponsorship after this podcast, they should, because I feel like we've said South Point more than we've said Team Roper.
South Point's the place to be.
Well, they love the Team Ropers.
Oh no, we do.
If you want,
they take good care of everybody over there.
God, there's so many people there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Bobby Joe, he went and watched some Bulldog and Steers at the Junior NFR at the Convention Center this morning, and he was like, "You want to come with me to the Convention Center?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." There's way too many people.
Too many
I
people.
can't deal with it.
Yeah,
absolutely not. All right, well, we'll let you get out of here. Thank you. Thanks for answering my message on TikTok and making it happen.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Blast.
Thank
All right.
so much.
Yeah, thank y'all.